say other than they're horrible. Hopefully we'll have less of them in 2012. Well, here we are a year later. We didn't learn shit. So, what we're gonna do this year is appreciate the shit we have now, because as shitty as this is, next year's not faring much better. Not much else to say. Top 10. You know what? No, we're gonna do something different this year. We're not just doing top 10. We're gonna go 20. We're gonna go as fast as we can, but we're gonna do top 20 because I feel like if I cut all the other, like I had my top 10, but then I looked at all the other ones that I would have been leaving out, and I felt like I was, with each one of them, I felt like I was letting a kid that did something wrong off the hook. Like I was letting them go unpunished. So, you know what? There was plenty to choose from this year. We're going to do a top 20 because this year really was just not ankle deep, not like waist high in shit movies, which is really disappointing. I don't like doing top 10 worst and having so many to choose from. But, I mean, we gotta learn at some point from our mistakes, right? So here we go. Let's go ahead and just we'll breeze through the first 10 really quick, and then we'll go into more in depth with the actual top 10.
Dude, that movie sucked!
I can't believe I'm fucking doing this. Starting off is Star Trek Into Darkness. Was it outright awful? No. But was it disappointing? Yes. I really liked the previous movie, and with everything that was set up, I was ready for a more complex story and real character development. What I got was Fast and the Furious in space and character arcs that are identical to the last movie. I put this one pretty low on the list because while it may be dumb, it's directed well, it's competently made, ultimately it's harmless. Number 19, however, is Texas Chainsaw 3D. This one's low on the list because it's my own fucking fault for even giving this movie the time of day. Number 18, Identity Thief. The whole movie is banking on the stupidity of its audience in order to work. McCarthy's character steals the identity of Jason Bateman's character, but the police refuse to do anything about it because she's in a different state than him. Bullshit. Fraud is a federal offense no matter what state you're in. One phone call to the FBI and she's extradited. Are you seriously telling me that the cops won't pick up the phone to catch a criminal? Fuck this movie. Number 17, Battle of the Year. Battle of the Year is a breakdance movie. It was made in 2012, and it was released in 2013. Yes, a movie called Battle of the Year was released in the wrong year. Can't even get its own title right, and yet somehow that really is the perfect title for it because it's a complete failure. Number 16, World War Z. Enough with the fucking zombies. Number 15, Oz the Great and Powerful. The Wizard of Oz, the one and true timeless classic of fantasy, now has a canonical prequel starring the thumb penis from Pineapple Express and Meg Griffin. Number 14, Carrie. A dumbed-down Cliff Notes version of one of the first big landmarks in horror, the Carrie remake was an even bigger disappointment than Star Trek Into Darkness was. Completely lacking style or even anything interesting to say, this version of Carrie is a poster child of what it means to be a modern-day horror remake. Number 13, The Last Stand. Number 12, Parker. This movie deserves a special award because any movie that manages to make Jason Statham boring is impressive in its own way. Sort of like how driving a beautiful race of animals into the brink of extinction could be considered impressive. And rounding us out at number 11 is The Purge, an outrageously stupid concept marred by absolutely no ambition. Rather than embrace its own idea, it settled for just doing The Strangers. When people talk poorly about horror movies, it's because of shit like The Purge. Number 10, A Good Day to Die Hard. I'm okay with a Die Hard movie being big and grand. All I want really is an action movie that's shot in a way that I can tell what's going on and makes enough sense that I can follow along. But this was so incomprehensible that I feel like a warning for motion sickness should be included on the DVD cover. I also happen to like the character of John McClane, and I'd appreciate it if these movies would stop shitting all over him by making him look like a dumbass that doesn't belong in his own franchise, because if anything, it's the other way around. Number 9, The Hangover Part 3. Unbelievable. It took 2 hours to tell one joke. Let me tell you something, if the funniest part of your comedy is in the end credits, something's wrong with your comedy. It took 3 movies, but at least this series is finally over. Number 8, You're Next. Just when I thought we could go a year without a pretentiously meta horror film coming out to talk down to us, along comes this lovely little slice of film school. It's more or less the Savages of horror, with characters that all talk like they're trying to be super cool instead of just being people. If that sounds like fun for you, go for it, but I promise you there's better things you could do with your time. Like doing your laundry. Number 7, 47 Ronin. Based on the true story of 47 Ronin that avenged their master's unjust death, the trailer featured dragons, monsters, and really bad one-liners. So I just assumed that the movie wasn't going to take itself too seriously and was just going to be a fun time, and boy, I hate admitting when I'm wrong. The movie feels like it really believes the story it's telling all really happened, resulting in the dialogue coming off very stilted and forced, and the overall feel of the movie gave me flashbacks to Dragon Wars. Speaking of amateur filmmaking, number 6 is After Earth. Hiring M. Night Shyamalan to write the script for your movie is kind of like hiring Miley Cyrus to open your award show. Jaden Smith is a promising actor, but he needs to find work he's interested in so he can get passionate about it. Because passion is what's sorely missing here. And not just from Jaden's end, every aspect of the film is devoid of any kind of drive, motive, or point to it. When the climax to your movie is one character trying not to fall asleep and the other one looking for cell phone reception, it's time to head back to the drawing board. Number 5, Kick-Ass 2. Imagine all the style and fun from the first Kick-Ass movie being replaced with blood, puke, and poop. Imagine having your main villain being a whip-ring sycophant that bitches the whole movie. Imagine if the best character in the movie is killed off before he even gets 15 minutes of screen time, and you'll have imagined the entire runtime of Kick-Ass 2 from opening scene to ending credits. I don't know who this movie is for, but I hope they never breed. Number 4, Warm Bodies. I'm open to a new spin on zombie stories, but I would hope that zombies would still be a part of it. But no, says Warm Bodies, we can succeed where Twilight's failed. I mention Twilight not only because it's yet another classic horror movie monster being done up like a streetwalker and paraded around for money, but because both movies make direct alliterations to Romeo and Juliet like it's really proud of itself and thinks it'll stand the test of time as being the love story that people talk about in classrooms in the future. I'm happy to break this to you, movie. The only kind of talking people will do about you in the future will be about how sad it was that Hollywood was in such a decrepit state that it settled for you. Number 3, Man of Steel. Where do I fucking start? The schizophrenic storytelling keeps from investing in what's happening. The characterization is weak. A complicated doohickey is introduced in the third act because the movie stopped moving in a direction resembling forward. It's incredibly heavy-handed, and I'm not a fan of IHOP, to tell you the truth. But I could forgive almost all of those things if it wasn't for the movie's single biggest problem, the source of its mistakes, the root of its evil from which all the other issues stem from. It's the exact same problem that last year's Amazing Spider-Man had, and that's a complete lack of understanding of the character. The fortitude and morality of both characters are molded from a tragedy early in their lives. They're surrounded by imperfection, but they stay their course because they're the bigger, better person. They're the guy that turns the other cheek if it's for the greater good. They have moments of darkness and confliction, but for the most part, on the whole, both are very cheesy and fun stories. But since Batman was so popular, The Amazing Spider-Man exists, and now we have to sit through yet another attempt to take a character whose roots are surrounded by levity and ground it into reality. I may not be a fan of Superman as a character, but I like the original Christopher Reeves movies. I'm open to a good Superman story. But judging from this hawkish shit and how they're approaching the sequel, it looks like I'm gonna be waiting for a long time. Number 2, The Host. If you're trying to get into Hollywood and you're waiting for your big break, then here's a movie that ought to inspire you because it's proof that you can find work even if you have no idea what you're doing. Man of Steel did one thing wrong and all the other problems topple like a stack of dominoes. But with The Host, every single thing is wrong all on its own. The actors are barely awake, the effects are unfinished, cameramen and filming equipment are visible on screen, and its story and the message it carries with it is just morally repulsive. It was genuinely uncomfortable to watch. Incest would have been less offensive. Well, no, that's not what I mean. That's Okay, moving on. My number one was not even close. By far and away, the biggest piece of shit and my number one worst movie of the year was The Lone Ranger. It's just the embodiment of what mainstream Hollywood does. It's a mess from beginning to end. Watching it was like being told a bedtime story by an Alzheimer's patient. The tone is completely manic. The characters are cartoonish. It's overblown. It's loud. It's forced. It's fake. If you've ever known or come across someone that talks a big game, shooting their mouth off, but could never actually do or live up to what they're saying, then you have an idea of what watching this movie is like. It pauses for you to laugh after attempting humor, but it's not funny. And the entirely unnecessary plot twists and the convoluted story is cut and paste from the Pirates movies, specifically the third one. And the attitudes of the actors and the director blaming the public for the movie bombing like some petulant child that won't admit he fucked up, it only helps to highlight the negative nature from where the movie sprang from. If you do like this movie, I don't blame you. You just need to see more movies because your palate is not developed enough yet to know what a good movie actually is.
There you have it. There's 2013. If you agree, let me know. If you disagree, let me know. If you have your own list, definitely let me know. I want to hear what you guys saw and what you thought of mine. If there was a movie that you were expecting to be on the list and wasn't, it's because I didn't see it. I was on a real crunch this year. I'm tempted to have that be my New Year's resolution, to be better about keeping on top, like making sure I see a new movie each year. It's kind of a lame resolution, but it's something that I could do. So it's within the realm of possibility. But either way, hopefully 2014 will be kind to us. January's not a good start, but I mean, there's some good stuff happening in the summer. So the new Godzilla, the Days of Future Past, there is some stuff to look forward to. I just hope that more and more stuff like that gets pumped out as we go throughout the year. So again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you around next time.